Welcome back, everybody. It's nice to have you along. It's, of course, Wednesday night where we take a look at what's happening in the world of club rugby. You'll remember during the lockdown period, well, we're still in the lockdown period, but we managed to find out what's happening at Collegians on a number of occasions. Well, of course, it was a big a win for Collegians this past weekend over Belleville, and we went down to their training session this week, and well, not only were the players talking to us about their match, but they were also talking about the Collegians facilities and how the players are still having to practice in the dark. They're still waiting for lights, and they also pointed out again to everybody that's watching the show how much they helped everybody during the lockdown period. We went down to the practice to catch up with the guys behind the scenes.
Yeah, obviously with such a long break, I mean, you're almost 2 years from rugby. It's actually brilliant to be back. Even with our conditions here, as you can see, that the lights, your bed, our fields messed up, but still we even happy just to be on the green grass. Definitely look, even in those conditions, we still have over 100 people in training. Even with our situation here with little lights, look at our condition on our field. We still bring out wins. I mean, last week we won Belvedere. They're one of the top teams in this league. Even in the same conditions, man, we just have some sort of a gears here. It's unbreakable. Our coaches implemented something for the force, like little groups amongst each other, and that actually kept us going. Before the force actually came, we were training like 4 weeks, but with that, groups actually helped us a lot. And even during the force, we even had the group thing going as well, so there was guys training a bit. But yeah, it's actually great to win Belvedere. It's a massive confidence boost for us heading to St. George's, and yeah, we're hoping to win them this weekend.
It was difficult because there was no motivation as a club or anything, because when COVID came, everything was just shut down. Everyone lost their family. So it was kind of tough to get that motivation back to keep foot on your own, knowing that there's no rugby or no season. So it was a bit tough. All of us probably gained weight, like pompies. I think the force basically came in a blessing as disguise, because I think that was the period where we could actually sit down and reflect as to what we want as a club going forward, and obviously personal training as well. So I think that excited everyone more, because now we know what is lying after the month of Ramadan. So yeah, we were just very excited basically to be back. This is part of Collegians basically. We've been through this over the years. We make with what we can basically. So yeah, whatever we need to do, we come out, we train, and then on a Saturday we just go and enjoy. As you can see, the vandalizing here from in the community, gangsterism, poverty is quite a big issue here. So our field basically gets vandalized. If we do put up new lights, it will just be stolen again, something like that. So I think this is the safer way. But at the end of the day, as long as we can play, that's what's important to us.
Yeah, every guy on this field and every guy in this club was enthusiastic when the season started, when it was announced during the lockdown that we may start with training, non-contact training. We didn't immediately start on the field. We actually trained at the TG station in the parking lot there. We didn't have a field available. The field wasn't ready. The council was still busy with the field. They're still busy with the field. And we're making use of the community that we have there, running up the stairs, running in the roads, using the opportunity, and the people were all standing in front of their houses looking at us training, and it was a lot of excitement within the community. Definitely the youngsters coming up are an exciting part of the club. Every year we've got youngsters coming up every year. There's teams scouting our players, telling our players going to other clubs. And the thing about other players from other clubs coming to our club, we all know them. We play against each other on the field, but off the field, we're all friends, we all know each other. We all talk on social media with each other. So them coming to our club, they just fit in, and it's all about them fitting within the structure of the gameplay. That is the only thing, but camaraderie, friendship, that is second nature to us on the field. Yeah, definitely the Belvoir result was a very good result. Our forwards played very well, controlled the game against Belvoir. One thing that we don't want to do is get ahead of ourselves. There's still a lot to do. There's still game structure that needs to come in, calls that needs to be made on the field that we didn't play. So as soon as everything comes together, then we can call it a successful friendship, friendly games or like that. But we won't get ahead of ourselves and say, else we want Belvoir. That is our season is done. That is only the beginning. That was, and Northern was only the beginning. That was all getting the lungs stronger and getting the structure in place was against Belvoir. And going forward, new things have to come in as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a year and 4 months since we've been on the park. As you can see, the guys are super excited, they're hungry. I think the result on the weekend pass showed that how hungry we actually are. A few things that we still need to work on. Some guys are still not up to scratch with fitness, but we're getting there day by day. Coach is hammering us, and it can only be a good thing in the end of the day. So quite exciting. A lot of planning took place in the 4 weeks that we were off. Again, we couldn't do anything because most of us being Muslim, so we were partaking in the holy month. But like I said, a lot of planning took place in those 4 weeks in terms of structures, what the coaches want from us, what we as players want from coaches, and ultimately what we want to achieve at the end of the league. It did us great heaps. I was actually glad that we could do it. Getting back after Ramadan was a bit tough. First week or two, because the bodies were obviously in limp mode after so long break. We couldn't really do anything. But as you can see right now, the guys are just up there, hungry, willing, and just ready to go.
Yeah, we are excited. I mean, we played last year just before the lockdown, and then we had a nice setup with the coaching staff and even the playing staff. And we were lucky enough that all our players are still here from last year, and the coaching staff. So that's fantastic news. So yeah, we're looking forward to the new season. It's exciting. See all the players coming, even under the conditions. And I was telling somebody last week, this was when I played. Long time ago, this was the conditions that we trained under. We didn't have lights, so somebody had to manually put up lights all the time. But I mean, our players are committed, they're loyal, and I think it's a Collegians thing. Most of the other clubs that I get, they say that they don't even have players, and we're lucky enough to still have 60, 70, 80, 90 players on training, and that's fantastic. I mean, just before the fast, they trained in a parking lot near the station. You know, with just the lights there, the normal lights shining, but they were still there on training. And now we at least have better lights, and they're still here, so hats off to them. We've had a few players coming from other clubs, and I can only say that they're enjoying themselves thoroughly. I mean, we still have our own players, and we just bring a gees. I mean, JP will always say the Krifgat, there's always a gees at Krifgat, and it's still the same. Once you walk onto this field, it's just rugby. There's nothing else that matters, you know, with all the pandemic and everything that's happening in the world and in South Africa. You know, who wouldn't mind walking onto a rugby field and just play rugby and enjoy himself, so, yeah.
Right, so Collegian spirit just keeps getting stronger and stronger. We trust that you will pay attention, and if you are out there, take a look at what's happening at Collegians. It's inspirational. Collegians, of course, head to St. George's this week. They'll be full of confidence, and they'll be looking for a good result after their big result over the weekend against Belleville. But folks, let's take a look at some of the other results that came in over the weekend. It was a win for False Bay, 34-16 over Titans. Titans went down to go and play False Bay. Fantastic to see that. Brackenfell with a win over Kales River, 31 points to 8. Young Peoples and Albions, very close game, 17-14. Busy Bees with a win over Elsies Rafir. Noordicus went down to Van der Stel Evergreens. Franschhoek, as you know, 40-12 over Lower Paarl. Was a win for Young Gardens over Blue Stars. Strand with a win over Scottsdene. And Blake's with a win over Macassar. St. George's scored a win over St. Lawrence in a typical derby match. Durbell with a win over Tygerberg. Fora managed to beat Violet's Paarl 19 points to 5. Temperance and Cities 29-21 in favour of Temperance and Cities. And Gardens beating Silvertree 38 points to 8. While Kylemore went down to Hands and Hearts. Young Wesley scored a win over Progress, and Gordons Bay Pioneers a win over Visanta Kral 18-12, while it was a win for Atlantis 28-17 over Police. And Hamilton's with a win over Villages in their derby match. Hamadeers went down to Rangers over the weekend. Collegians 21-7 over Belleville. All Saints 26-12 over Eersterivier. Violets 41-5 over Caledonian Roses. And Laguna with a 19 points to 12 win over Spirit Masipumalele, with Vineyards, of course, with a 36-14 win over Langa. As your friendly results from the weekends, folks, we'll of course ask you to send those results to us either on a Saturday or on a Sunday once you've managed to complete your games. Folks, when we come back from the break, we're going to be catching up with Danelle Rousseau, DHL Western Province Rugby team manager. And don't forget, we'll close off the show tonight with Jerome Parvat, who talks to us about the under-20s and their preparation. Back in a sec.